Hello everyone, Social Coach Michael Knight here, and today what we're going to talk about is why girls don't like it when you try to impress them. Now, by try to impress, I mean actively doing something to try to get the other person's admiration or validation. Like bragging about your car, bragging about how much money you make, bragging about how intelligent you are, what university degrees you have. But before we jump into why trying to impress a person doesn't work, please remember to like and subscribe, since that would be doing me a huge favor when it comes to helping me build this channel. Also, a big shout out and thanks to my Patreon subscribers for helping support my work. When it seems to a person like you're actively trying to impress them, they might get a thought in their mind like, this guy seems to be overcompensating for something else. Some other aspect about him I don't know about, because he doesn't really think he's good enough as he is. Because if he thought he was good enough as he is, he wouldn't trying to be actively impressing me. But he feels inferior in some way, and like I need to know this information about him before he feels validated enough to feel that he's good enough for me. And that's really the key, what's being communicated. By trying to impress a person, you're communicating, I'm not good enough as I am, or at least I don't believe I am. And if you don't even think you're good enough as you are, why should the woman think you're good enough? She'll just default to the opinion you hold of yourself. Imagine what the behaviors of a confident, self-secure, high-value man just living in complete abundance would be. Would he constantly be trying to sell himself to a woman? Like, he's already probably dating tons of great women, and this is either comes or goes. He's okay with it. He's not living in scarcity. He's living in abundance. And because he's living in abundance, he's not trying to, thinking, oh, this is one opportunity, so I better impress, because if I don't make this opportunity, there might never be another one ever in my life, or not for a year or something, right? And women can sense this. When they sense this guy is like, oh wow, he seems in abundance, he seems like he's been here before. That's what confidence is, by the way. The definition of confidence is, if this person's so confident, what makes them confident? Well, they've probably been in a similar situation before and come out successful. That's how confidence gets made, right? You've done something before, been successful at it, so you think you can do it again in the future. So from a beautiful woman's perspective, oh, this guy comes up to me so confidently and he's so comfortable. Like he's been in this type of situation often before. This guy must have been surrounded by lots of beautiful women who approve of him before, and that's where this confidence comes from. So this is like implied social proof. I made a whole nother video on social proof, which I'll link to above, which you can check out to explain that concept. And so she goes, okay, this is probably also a good option for me. And isn't that also subtle? That's what's amazing about this. This is a guy who has nothing, right? Or nothing in the immediate environment. If it's a person he just met, they know nothing about him, except everything is implied from the way he carries himself. He carries himself in such a way that it implies he has abundance, even if in real life he might not have any abundance at all. And this reminds me of, there's this video on YouTube I saw, this documentary a few years ago, short one, of this guy who is homeless in New York City. And this homeless guy in New York City, it turns out, usually 5 out of 7 nights a week, he spends it with some random girl he met on the street and picked up, and then ends up staying at her apartment, right? And maybe for a couple nights or just one night. And so this guy's homeless. He's a drug addict. He's an alcoholic. You can Google it and find it on Dr. Phil episode if you want to see. Yet he's still picking up women and staying with them. So what's there to take away from this message? Obviously, you don't want to become anything like this guy. But the point is, this guy has nothing, but just in the way he carried himself alone, even though in real life his life is a disaster, the simple fact that he carried himself with confidence allowed him to still be successful with some women. Now, I saw a similar pattern when I used to travel a lot coaching. There was a time in my life where every single week I was literally in a new city, right, helping coaching guys in that city. And this is what was very interesting about it. I would arrive in a completely new city. This was in my early mid-20s. I didn't really have much money. I didn't have obviously a car in the city. We just fly in, no apartment in the city, no good job in the city, nothing. I was just there for a week to coach, right? And I'd arrive in the city basically with nothing. None of these things that society tells us are so important. Yet, in this city, because that was my job, coaching clients, I'd meet tons of beautiful women and help the clients meet tons of beautiful women. And what this taught me week after week after week, I had no problem meeting beautiful woman within a few days in a completely new city with literally nothing. You know, I came just with a backpack. And all it was my personality and how I communicated, and I had no trouble meeting new people. And you could see some of the, especially in a smaller city, or you're a place in a smaller city where a lot of locals go, like the same people every week. And me and my crew and our students and clients would come into the place, and people were just like, who the hell are these guys? Like, these guys are getting all the attention, they're doing so well, all the women want to be with them. Yet I've been like Susie over there, I've been chasing Susie for 3 years. You know, I'm getting my 2 degrees, I've been doing everything society told me to do, I've been investing in her, and within 5 minutes of talking to this guy, she's already more interested in him than she is in me, and I've been investing so much into this relationship trying to make it work. You know, because there's a lot of these fallacies in the mainstream social narrative that cause these type of thoughts. And I actually used to think that way too. You know, I spent years of my life in university also being like that guy, just investing, thinking, okay, once I get to a certain point, then that's when the woman will start to like me, because, you know, I'll have that high-paying job, engineering job, I'll have that, you know, great car and apartment, and I have that great university degree. And guess what? Nothing ever came of it, right? That's when I decided, this is time. If this isn't working, it's great that I have these things, but don't get me wrong, I don't want to be that dude on the street that's homeless. I'd rather be successful in some area. But if I want to also be successful in relationships, it's time to take action and learn the very things that I'm teaching to you now. So again, your mental state and your sense of self-worth and what you're entitled to play a huge role. So maybe just because you didn't get that promotion, or you've been comparing yourself to other people on Instagram and you feel worse off than them, don't carry those emotions into new interactions. You know, that's what's poisoning those interactions. You're going in with this low level of entitlement and thinking that you're not good enough, and the person that you're talking to, whether it's, you know, in dating or for a job interview, they're going, oh, this guy doesn't really think he's good enough. He's trying to impress me, you know, he's trying to make it seem like he's better than he is, because if he was just great the way he is, you know, I'd either just get to know that naturally in our conversation, or I'd just see that on his resume. There wouldn't be a need for him to be like so braggadocious and trying to convince me that he's great, right? If you're just, that's, again, it's a magic thing. By simply doing nothing in often cases, and by nothing I mean not bragging and just having a normal, natural conversation and letting any interesting things about you arrive naturally, you're going to do much better than if you just start like listing things off in an attempt to impress a person. Think of a day when you just felt like you were completely in the zone. Like, you know, everything was going right for you, you're just killing it in every area of your life, and then you talk to a person, she seems to like you, and then you talk to the next person, she seems to like you. Everything just seems an upward spiral. Because there's a truth to that. When they say like success begets success, it is true. You kind of form these upward cycles. And the thing is, to start that upward cycle, no matter where you are, even if you're like that homeless dude in that previous story I just told you, as long as in your mental state, you start with a success, happiness mentality, like a positivity, that's what I'm trying to say, like a positive mentality, that can actually kind of trip the cycle to start going in that direction. And I get it, that can be very hard. I mean, you can have so much hardship in your life, a lot of things not going right, and there's a lot of issues that you shouldn't ignore. You're going to have to take care of them and address them at some point. But my point is, when you're going into an initial interaction with a new person, maybe that you're interested in, choose then to put that baggage aside and don't bring it with you. Because, and some people are like, well, are you telling me you mean this fake it till you make it type of idea? And I think I made a whole nother video on that one as well. But like, it's not so much faking it, right? It's just putting those, you don't have to lie about anything. It's just putting those emotions aside, knowing that you'll deal with that stuff and sort it out later in your life. But in this very instant interaction, there's no reason that I'm not good enough. Make that the initial starting point for your mental state when going into the interaction. A couple more points that I have on this concept of not coming off as trying to impress a person include the fact that people want to feel like they're the winner. When they come along and go, wow, I hope I can impress this person, and me getting to be with this person is my victory. And that's the kind of feeling that they want to have. But if you come off as the person that's trying to impress them, it comes off like you're selling yourself, and you're the seller and they're the buyer, and you want to have the frame of them being the buyer and you just being a great product that they, not to commodify people, but you just being a great option that they're lucky to come along and meet, and they're lucky to get to know you, and they feel lucky that you in turn are interested in them. So to try to prevent falling into the behavior of trying to impress other people, never respond to anything out of jealousy. Because when you do out of jealousy, that's when you feel unequal, and that's when you're going to start trying to impress. Also, be okay with people not liking you. Not everyone's supposed to get along, not everyone's a match for each other. Be your own authentic self, and it'd be okay if the other person doesn't accept that. And also, don't need the other person's approval. By seeking someone's approval, and in this case, we're talking about the approval of almost a complete stranger, you're giving them the power to define your worth. Don't try to impress, but express. Express yourself honestly via attractive behaviors. Now, if you're interested in learning about all the unattractive behaviors that if you simply quit doing them, you would instantly become more attractive to other people, well, I cover them all in depth in my book, which is linked to in the description below. Also, for those of you who are super serious about getting this area of your life handled, I provide one-on-one coaching, and an application to that is also linked to below. That's all for today. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, ciao.